Hey everybody, it's Angela, and I just wanted to share some, well, actually they're Christmas gifts that I'm making. I know, but I'm starting early, and part of the reason is that I do a lot of canning and stuff, so I give a lot of my canned goods as gifts during Christmas, and I wanted to share some canning jars that I decorated. And this was the first one, and this is actually some apple jam and that I made and from apples on our tree, and I did this up in a water bath canner. And so I used this little graphic of a water bath canner on here, and it just says, you know, home canned for you, and it's got my name and the date and everything. And I used, let's see here, I used a digital collection. It's this one. It's from Scrap Girls, and it's one of the Scrap Simple Embellishment Templates Home Canning. And so these are all the different templates, and I used this one here with the canning jar on it. And then over here are different ideas of how you can use them, but it has two labels that you can use as lid labels, or you can print them onto adhesive like sticker paper and make them stickers. You don't have to do it on sticker paper. I've actually put this one on the front just using Zots. I backed it on some cardstock and then just stuck it onto the jar with some Zots. And then there's also a couple little tags. There's a recipe card as well. And so these are the templates that I used for that. And then these little apple graphics and the canner graphics I got from the home canning embellishment biggie, and it just has a lot of different canning fruits and vegetables. And so it has this little canner here, which I used for the background, and then I think I used the Farmer's Bounty collection to get the apples off of that I put on here. But essentially I printed them out, and like I said, I just soldered that on there. I did some different ribbons and stuff on here and fibers, and then I used a couple Prima leaves and some I Am Roses, or no, actually there's the Wild Orchid Crafts flowers, and just kind of bunched them all up on top just to make it really pretty. And so these will be some of the gifts that I give away at Christmas. And then for people who don't can, I also do the all the tomatoes at the end of the season I put in my food dehydrator. And so I make all these sun-dried tomatoes, and I just put them in 2 canning jars. And on this one I kind of went with a more fall look. I used, first of all, the little canning jar label that says homemade with love, and that's this one here. And so I've got my name and stuff on it, and then I did the lid label on this one, and just said what it was and have some graphics on there. And the graphics is just, it is this one here. So, or no, wait. Yeah, it's this one here, and I put some of these tomatoes in front of it, so I've just got a few tomatoes in front and then that other graphic in the back. And so that turned out really cute. I really like this one with the fall colors and stuff. And you could do it with Christmas colors if you wanted to, but I like this. And it, I stuck the bottom leaves on the jar and the top leaves on the lid, so it just unscrews like that, and then you can screw it back on. So they can use some of it, and then they can put it back on their shelf, and it looks really pretty in the kitchen just like that. And so then the third option, if you don't dehydrate food and you don't can or whatever, there's like tons of places on the internet with ideas about, you know, things you can make in canning jars. And this one is actually not going to be a Christmas gift. It's going to be a birthday gift, but let's see if I can get the full thing in here. And what it is I've got 2 cookie cutters up here on the lid, and I just zodded them on. So they're pretty sturdy on here, but they will pop off with a little bit of pressure. And then I've got some ribbon and some colored rickrack, and then a refrigerator magnet with an apron on it. And this says homemade biscuit mix. So I layered in all the ingredients for biscuits. There's like the flours. I've got some whole wheat and some regular flour in here, and the baking soda and the salt and everything. And so all the dry ingredients are in here. And on this label, I just put the instructions about putting the cutting in the butter and putting some milk, and then roll them out, and then use the cookie cutters as biscuit cutters in this case. And this is for a young girl who will love to help her mom make biscuits and be able to help make dinner and stuff. And so I really wanted one of those. Joann's used to have them, those little rolling pins that are, you know, for kids and stuff, and they have the little red handles and the little wooden rolling pin that was so cute. And I wanted to tie one of those on here, but I couldn't find them. So I just put the 2 cookie cutters up here because I know she'll love cutting them out. And I've just got some little ribbon wire trim, got some really bright colored rickrack, and then the magnet, and that'll pop off. I just used hot glue, so it should pop off and be usable on the fridge. And then, like I said, these are zodded on, so they'll pop off. And so there's biscuit mix. And then last year I did my Christmas cookies, and I put them in a canning jar. And I had one of these, well, a bunch of these old-fashioned bale jars. So I put them in bale jars, and then I actually printed these on sticker adhesive paper, and then just cut them out and stuck them on the front of the jar. And then I did the recipe card that's included down here, this one with the heart. Here's it decorated, and I just backed it on some cardstock, and it was the recipe for these sugar cookies that were in the jar. So if people liked them, they had the recipe card there for in the future. And I just had ribbons, and I had this little clothespin with a little gingerbread man on it. So those were really cute, and that's what I gave last year. And then I think the year before that, I did the chocolate chip cookie mix in a jar, and I don't know if you can tell from this picture, but I layered it, you know, with the flour, and then the chocolate chips and flour, and then the brown sugar and everything, and I put the ingredients and the directions on this tag so that they could see what was already in there and how to make the cookies. And then I just put some ribbons and stuff on there and tied the tags on. So those were really cute. And I've done pickles and blackberry jam and other kinds of things that I've given away. And what I do in here, I printed out another sheet from the Christmas cookies from last year, and I just print out 2 on a page, and I do it on kind of a glossy, or actually this is like a semi-gloss stock, and then I can just cut these out, fussy cut them. And like I said, you can either zot this on or print it on sticker stock. And then there is the recipe card. And then these are different ones, labels that I've done. And you can just pull over as many as you want onto a page, you know, all the same thing. When I go to do all the sun-dried tomato ones, I'll just fill up a whole page of them and then cut them out and then make all my jars. So so this was kind of my prototype, and so this is the one I think I'm going to be giving the most of. And then my tomato crop wasn't super great this year, so I don't have too many of these jars. So I've got a lot of apple jam, so I'll do these for everybody else. So anyhow, I just thought that this, you know, might inspire some people and get some ideas. Go on the internet, find things that'll go in canning jars, and, you know, have fun using all your scrap supplies to, you know, decorate the jars up, and I think they'll make cute little gifts, and hopefully you'll be ahead of the game. So, and they're relatively inexpensive. I mean, I had all these already, and a lot of this I made myself, so anyhow, it's really affordable. So I just wanted to put that out there. If you have any questions or anything, just leave me a comment below. Thanks for watching. Bye.